displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the parks professor. 10th hole. The par and distance are at the top of the screen. This hole starts right beside the parking lot, and it plays slightly uphill. In fact, we're going to jump over a steep uphill section momentarily. But then it heads into the woods where we're going to stay for pretty much the rest of the course. The road to the left is out of bounds, so you have to keep your disc to the right of that road. There's the 10th basket, and there's the view back down to the tee from behind the basket. The 11th hole is the first of several holes that plays through a pine planting. The pine trees here are really dense, but they've done a good job of clearing out a corridor through the trees to create a nice little fairway here. I want to welcome you back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the parks professor. We are at Dacusville Disc Golf Course. We are in Dacusville, South Carolina, which is in upstate South Carolina, between Easley and Greenville. There's the 11th basket, and there's the view back down through the trees back down to the tee. The 12th hole plays back downhill. There are actually two fairways on this hole. The back blue tee plays down one fairway, and the middle white tee and the front green tee play down another fairway. The two fairways converge when we get down here to the basket. This is a very interesting hole. I like the double fairway idea. And it's nice to play a downhill hole after we played two moderately uphill holes. That is Dacusville Elementary School that you see through the trees back there, and I'll say more about that in a moment. The 13th hole is one of the hardest holes on this course. It's fairly long, especially if you're playing from the back tee, and it's also pretty tight. As you see, we're going through this tunnel of dense pine trees here. And so you're going to need a really good throw in order to get up to the basket in only one throw and set up a birdie opportunity. I mentioned this course is on school property. Typically, I don't feature courses on this channel that are on school property. Partly that's out of respect to the students who go to school here. And also, a lot of school courses just aren't that great of courses, to be honest with you. I made an exception in this case, and I'll explain why in a minute. But it is important to know you cannot play here when school is in session. I came here on a Thanksgiving and recorded this video, and I had a really nice time playing this course then. The 14th hole plays up and over a low ridge. You can see some stumps in the ground where they removed some of the trees, and that was a really good idea. That made this fairway much more accessible. This hole is very similar to some of the other holes around here, and even though it's a pretty nice hole, this course maybe does get a little bit repetitive with all of the tight wooded holes in this part of the course. I chose to show you this course even though it's a school course for two reasons. Number one, this is really a pretty nice course. I really did enjoy my round here. Also, for the most part, this course is in the woods, and therefore you don't really see any of the areas where students would normally be. But again, you cannot play here when school is in session. The 15th hole plays slightly downhill, and it is a sharp dogleg right if you play from the back blue tee. All of these video clips started from the back blue tee. If you're playing from the middle white tee or the front green tee, then this is actually a straightaway hole. We're coming up on the dogleg right now. This is the longest hole on the back nine, and especially if you're playing from the back tee, it is a worthy par 4, considering the tightness and also considering the dogleg. As I mentioned before, I captured this video on Thanksgiving Day, and it was a chilly day with temperatures in the low 50s when I came here. This is not a heavily used course. There was only one other group playing here when I came here. There's the 15th basket, and there's the view back up the fairway to the tee. The 16th hole has the most elevation of any hole on the back nine. It plays steeply downhill, and because it's so downhill, this hole is aceable, although it would take a really good throw to get down to the basket due to the length, and also because this hole is a slight dogleg from right to left. There's one really steep downhill area coming up here that we're going to skip over. This is possibly my favorite hole on the back nine because of the elevation, and just by some chance if you could ace that, that would really be something. The 17th hole is a fairly flat creekside hole, but it's interesting because the 3 tees offer very different angles to it come at the basket. I'm showing you the blue tee right here. The white tee is up the hillside to the right, and the green tee is actually on the other side of the creek to the left. So this hole is a very different hole depending on which tee you use. The 18th and final hole on this course plays steeply uphill at first, and we're going to jump over the steep section here before we walk up to the basket. Once you get over the steep section, this hole flattens out a little bit, and then doglegs right as we get up close to the basket. Since this is the last hole, I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. This is a really nice course, even though it is a school course, and therefore you cannot play here when school is in session. It's heavily wooded, it's fairly technical, but it's not heavily used, and there are some really interesting holes here. I really enjoyed coming here and playing this course. Also, I do not make any monetary compensation for anything that I do for this project, and therefore all I get for doing these videos are your likes, your subscribes, your views, and your comments, and I thank you for all of those things. That is the end of the course. Have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.